Well, hello there, and welcome back. This time I figured we would start with a little bit of coding. So I have this JSON helper thing here in Zig, which is arguably not really needed. I kind of just want to avoid having to do these like period, question mark, period, string things. And actually just assert that we have a certain member. We actually ran into a problem last time with. Let's see if I can reproduce the thing. So we have open, and we go to vehicle blueprints, and we set the vehicle controller type incorrectly. So the problem that we had was that this is supposed to be NW or N wheel, and we had it set to 4 wheel. And now when we try to preview this, we get an assert failure, and assertion just says differential type. And then when we look at the call stack, it's like, yeah, is that line? We can just exit out of that. If we find that line, it's this line. So basically it doesn't contain that name thingy. And I would like to give some more information. Okay, what is actually happening? Now it just says assertion failed and then name, which was differential type. So on the C++ side, I have something called assert f, or assert format, and I figured we would do the same thing here. So we have an expression here, we have a message, but let's make one where we can actually add a formatting string. So let's do assert with format or something like that. And it's basically the same thing, right? It's basically this. But rather than just having a message, we actually want to format things. So we'll use the same syntax as I've used elsewhere. So we have a compile time format. This is a string in Zig, and then you have essentially a tuple of arguments. Very much the same way as you can do on like in C with printf or something. And then I also want to add a shorthand for that, and I use the same thing I have in C++. So it would be assert f, and that's assert with format. Okay. So now we have the string, and we have the parameters. Zig has something called buff print. Right, so this takes a buffer, and then it takes basically the one that we already have, the format and the args. And I think we've used buff print in a few places here. Actually, yeah, we've used it here in the assert. So basically, we have a buffer, and then we use that, and we actually pass that to buff print, and that gives us something back. That's a formatted message, and we'll just do catch unreachable here. If we can't deal with this, then we're sort of in trouble. Nothing really we can do, and we can just forward the message like this. And args is just args. Right, and format is just format. So fmt and args. And I think that should be it, shouldn't it? Let's see, what do we have? So formatted message, and it's passed on to show assert message. Yeah. And this might not need to be quite that big. Let's make it half. Something like that. And now then, now we can do something like assert f. This needs to be wrapped in a tuple or anonymous type, I guess. And now we can do, what was the syntax like? Right, so something like that. So we can do the string is missing. Right, and that's a much more informative message that something is wrong than just printing the name of the missing value. People don't know what that means. It's like, differential type. But yes, the string differential type is missing. All right, that's better. That's better. So now we can just do this. We can do bool, and this would be int 32, and this would be unassigned int 32, and this would be the float, and probably array. Vec2, Vec3, Vec4, enum, something like this, right? Yeah. So that should make it a bit easier to actually figure these things out. Something is actually missing. Right. So now, of course, if I just start that up, it takes a while for it to boot anyway. Well, what happened? Probably got confused since I started switching things while it was actually starting up. Right, now if I click this, it says, no, the string is missing. String member, maybe it should say member, because these are all talking about members. Let's do that still. Actually, we can do this, and we can add this, and just yeah, that should make it easier to understand. And now if we go back and we set this properly again, now it should work. And there we go. All right. So that was just a small improvement to my Zig framework. Okay, so the level is prototype/prototestlevel.bin level, and what we can do here to make this a little nicer to use is just add that as the play level command here. So so it was prototype/prototestlevel, and that's it. And now if we run this, it should just boot straight into the level. Don't have to go through that menu all the time. There we go. No object called base mother1. Okay, and that would be because we only added the mother vehicle to the level at a pretty late date. Here we have it. Can't see it yet because it doesn't have any visuals yet, but we will actually fix that next. But now that we've exported the level, we should just be able to go in here and yeah, so this is interesting. Let's break here and see what's going on. So total torque applied. So this is the torque vectoring code that I have. There's something funky going on here. Total torque applied. I wonder if the let's debug this and see what happens. Is that so that's a valid value, and again it's a valid value. How is the total torque applied? Should equal 1. All right, and it does equal 1. Okay. So yeah, I don't know what's going on with that thing. Is it just when we actually sort of place the object in the world, it just goes bananas for a while? It is possible, but it does seem to work properly. And if you've watched the previous part, you know that we ended up with this really quite huge vehicle. I don't know if it's huge enough yet, but it's pretty huge, and it's drivable, and it handles somewhat sensibly. But it's really difficult to reason about it because you can only see these debug visualizations, as well as of course the wheels. And we're using way too small wheels for this, so that's not great. So let's do visuals this time around and actually start thinking about the shape of this guy a little bit, so that it would be easier to actually like properly play around with this vehicle. And so how do we do that? Maybe we should start with looking at some references. And I have some references in mind. Like there's the one big vehicle from Halo 4, which we can look at. I think is it called the Mammoth? I think. Images. Yeah, so this thing. This thing actually is a 6x6 vehicle. Interesting. But this is kind of sort of similar in the sense that it's this big vehicle with which is almost like a mobile base. This one has like a cannon on top. We're not going to have that. We're going to be more sort of not perhaps as military as this. But it also has this ability to enter the vehicle with smaller vehicles. But you don't actually get to drive this vehicle in the game, which of course is something that you will get to do in this game that we're building. Another game that has some pretty interesting vehicles is Deserts of Karak. Yeah, this has some really interesting. These are almost sort of like carrier ships. Some of them, like this one here. Capisi. You also have these kind of large, almost like scout vehicles. how we ended up on their website. That's not a bad thing necessarily. Something like this, like this is not strictly a military vehicle. This is more like a utility vehicle, which is kind of closer to what I had in mind for this. Also a 6x6 vehicle, actually. I didn't actually think these would be 6x6 vehicles. It's more like I already had that setup somewhat working, so I figured it would be pretty cool, but actually kind of interesting. It looks like this vehicle also has the two back set of wheels sort of closer together. Maybe it's just how, well, yeah, they're sort of closer together, and then the front wheels are further apart. The same thing seems to be true with this Mammoth. It has like an entry point here on the side. But yeah, this, I like this design in where the sort of like the top part of the vehicle almost sort of spills out over the wheels. Like with this vehicle, the wheels are the widest section of the car, while with this it's the narrowest. And I was thinking I would go perhaps more this route. Then of course we have a classic, the Java Sandcrawler from Star Wars. This is a pretty interesting vehicle. It's a tracked vehicle. I was kind of thinking that we would maybe make this mother vehicle a tracked vehicle. It's not tracked currently. I don't really have tech support for that yet. Maybe we can make that happen, but this is something to sort of think about maybe. It's kind of interesting with these double tracks here. Kind of reminds me of the Halo tank. It's called Scorpion, I think. Scorpion tank. Also has double tracks, so like one in the front and one in the back. They're sort of separate units, and they can have like their own suspension and everything. That's pretty cool. Then I had something, what was it? Right, actually a real world example of like a similar track vehicle. What's it called? Is it like the launch pad? The launch pad vehicles. Mobile launcher platform, is that it? Yes. So these things, they're used for actually launching rockets into space. So this is also slightly similar in the sense that it has these tracks. It's this huge slow-moving thing, which looks very sort of imposing when you arrive up close to it. And this also has the same thing where like the top of the vehicle is sort of wider than the bottom part, which I kind of like. Okay, anyway, let's start building something. And I think the first thing to do is to figure out what the state of Blender is on this machine. Right. And while we're at it, we can see if Blender Sync works. I haven't used this in a bit, so let's see how that works. If you haven't seen my Blender Sync system, I have a whole video about it and how it is actually built. But the very quick version is that you have this thing called a quick mesh, which you place in the level, and then you have an add-on here in Blender called basis Blender sync, start the server, and we can make this slightly larger. We can see here that we can include the surroundings, for example, make it like 30, and then we just click Edit in Blender, and we get this kind of interesting view here with where is it? I haven't used Blender in ages. I'm lost, completely lost. Viewport shading, yes, that's not the one I want. Where is the one I want? I think this is the one I want, but I want the random colors. Where was the random colors? Why don't I remember this anymore? Let me just figure that out. Okay, I found it. It was hiding from me. Like middle click. Can you get this drop down? This is the one I wanted. Okay. So, yeah, now we can start to like model this and just extend it however we want. Like this, for example, and then do something like this, and maybe we can do you can do a smart UV project on it, perhaps, and then we can just finish editing. The thing shows up in here, ready to be used. Anyway, that seems to work. I don't really need any quick meshes currently, but Blender is in that sense hooked up with the editor. And then we can go into the game here, and we can see where do we have the vehicles. Where's our mother vehicle, Jason? So right, yeah, vehicles. Okay, so it's in means and vehicles, and here we go. So we have truck 1, and we have like a truck chassis, it would seem, like this, and we have some wheel mesh there as well. Okay, good. And we have truck 2. Are they all set up like this? Well, kind of. Yeah. Okay, well, this scale mannequin guy is probably quite handy to have. So maybe we can somehow bring that guy over. Maybe we can even have like this truck here. I think this blockout truck thingy here, we can just get rid of that. Don't really need this. It was way too large anyway. Oh, I ended up deleting scale mannequin. Let's just rename this. Like so. And then we have this other truck here. So let's just call this like truck. And we can essentially bring everything up just a little bit. I need to do like increments, like so. So here we have like a standard truck and a person, just for scale, right? And then we go into here, and we go here, and we create a new folder that we call mother. And in here we create a folder called _work. So the _work standard or convention is just a folder that the resource system won't try to look in. So you can just have like a bunch of PNGs in there, for example, without the resource converter trying to actually create textures out of them. Right, so save as, and we'll go boom boom and mother and work and mother blend. Okay. And now then, if we have this environment here, let's see roughly how large that thing is. Oh, yeah. That's fine. Right, so we need to simulate the physics just to get the visualization to show up, and now we can. Oh, there we go. Right, so here is our current mother physics bodies, and we take the measure tool and we just click there, and we figure out roughly how large it is. So it's 30 meters long, and it's, I think it was 8 by 8 wide and tall currently. So we can just create a new collection here and call it chassis blockout or something like that. Let's move this truck off to the side. So move it somewhere there. Can move that guy off to the side as well. And we'll just start with a cube, I think. And the cube will be well, it'll be 8 meters then to get the sort of rough size, and we can move it up. I think in edit mode, something like this, and we can scale it to make it. What do we want to make it? Actually, that might not have been the easiest. Oh, solid. That might not have been the easiest way to do this. Let's create a cube here. Size 1. Then we scale it on the Y to 30, and we scale it on the other to 8. And then we probably apply the scale, and then we can perhaps move it up a little bit in edit mode. Actually, let's not do that. Let's just move the whole thing up, like the actual object instead. And I think we'll do something like this. But before we do that, actually, let's have a look. So the like we had the JSON file here for the vehicle. So the radius for the wheels is 3 and the width is 2. So we can create something like that first of all. Chassis blockout. So we can do like a wheel blockout as well. Just add another object there. So that would be a cylinder, and the cylinder is rotated on the y-axis 90 degrees. Its radius is 3 and its depth is 2, exactly how it is. And now then, if we move this guy up so that it stands on the ground essentially, and yeah, how should we do this now? Maybe I'm trying to figure out if I should like mirror this or how I should do it, but I think I won't actually do any of that right now. Instead, I'll concentrate on this chassis for now. So let's slide this up a little bit, and actually this thing we could probably mirror. So I'm gonna cut it in two just to make it symmetric, and I'm gonna remove those faces, and then we can add a modifier to mirror it. There we go. And we'll take this guy and we'll extrude it out a little bit. And maybe we'll add some kind of slight sort of cockpit here to the front. Let's make it something a little like this, and I'm actually going to cut it here first, and then just move that up a little bit, something like that. And what do we do at the back? I think we'll just take this edge and just slide it slightly inwards to give it sort of a little bit of a sort of just a shape of some kind. All right, and then maybe we can bevel this a little bit. Oh, I wasn't actually planning on beveling that side, but let's just bevel that a little bit. Oh, it does like a weird. It does a weird thing, doesn't it? Yeah, it does a weird thing. Why do you do a weird thing? Let's join those. And sure, yeah, it can be like that, and I'll do the same here. Actually, we'll just get rid of that face completely. We'll do that, and then we'll do that, and there we have it. All right, so a little more shape. We're not gonna. I mean, we are going to put this into the game, but we're not really gonna end up using it for anything more than prototype purposes. So, I mean, this doesn't need to be super well put together. Okay, maybe we'll even extrude this up a little bit, and then we'll do like take those faces away, and we have some strange, like we don't need those faces at all actually. Something like that. Does that look like a thing? Does it look like a thing? I think it kind of looks like a thing. Yeah, we could try putting this in the game already, but I think I'm gonna want to have some sort of cargo bay or something up on the roof. So like basically almost like a pool which you can just drop things into, and they would sort of stay there with one of those cranes that we talked about. So let's just put something very approximate in now and figure it out later. It shouldn't occupy the whole thing. Maybe something like that, and then we can extrude, or is it perhaps intrude in this case? I mean, that doesn't look very large, but when you put a person in it, you're starting to get the sense for how big it is. Yeah, something like this. So if you consider like there would be like a crane over here, and it would sort of lift something, and then you could drop it in this pool, and you would somehow be able to sort of have the vehicle sort of automatically place it in a cargo bay for safe storage or something. I think that should be fun. I think this should be fun. Let's see, can I remember how to do this? So selection to cursor, cursor to selection, cursor to selected is there, right? And then we can go like this, and then maybe we can do like that, and then we can do like whoop. I do remember something about Blender. That's encouraging to see. Okay, right. So it should have a sort of loading bay, cargo bay doors in the front and the back, sort of like how this thing has. Something like that. I don't know. Should we try putting that in right now as well? Maybe we can make it. Maybe we can make this bottom side hollow. That shouldn't be a problem. Let's make it hollow just for funsies. Right. So just we'll get rid of that. And something like that, and we need to actually make it snap to vertex, and we can perhaps snap it to, yeah, that's the one, we want to snap it to that. There we go. I'm very aware that this is probably not the best way to use Blender. It's probably not a very good way at all, but it gets the job done, so that is good enough for me. Right. So that's that. Now it's sort of hollow, and you can essentially, at least you can kind of look at it and compare it with the size of the other vehicles. Now I'm not going to put any ports on it currently. Let's just leave it as it is for now. Okay, cool. So where's my wheel? There's my wheel. Maybe we should do something about this wheel to make it a little easier to see that it's actually rotating. How do we do that? Let's do maybe not that. Let's do like an inset and extrude, and maybe we can just get rid of everything else for a bit. So we'll join that, and we'll join that, and then we will do that, and then we will do that, and that. Get rid of the faces. Yeah, not exactly that, no. Get rid of that. We'll put a face there and a face there, and that should give us an interesting visual to look at. Make it a bit easier to see that it is actually rotating. And then, I mean, this is never wrong to just bevel this a little bit. Whoop. like so. It's a huge wheel, but it is a huge vehicle also, so makes sense, I think. Okay, now then. I think we need to actually move this to the origin for export, and we will do export, and we will do FBX, which is what Basis currently sort of works best with. Right, I don't have any operator presets, but I should make them. So how did this work? You can see from my hesitation that I haven't done any content work in a while. So Z is forward. Is that actually it? I think mesh is the only thing we want. We only want the selected objects. I think that might be it, and we'll call this. I apologize if there are any noises. My neighbors have really loud vehicles in real life. Right, so let's do like mother chassis, and that should probably be fine. Yeah. Actually, what we probably want to do first is smart UV project, and I want to actually add that to my favorites. Quick favorites. Apply modifiers is on, so that's good. All right. So that's that. And then I think we had it at 6. That's good. And we'll make that 0, and we'll just export it as mother wheel. And that should be fine. Okay. So now then, if we look at the asset server. Oh, did we actually? Yeah, we exported them here in work. And this is exactly what I said. If we export something here, then it won't actually show up. That one I don't want. But now we have. You can see this one already picking up. So we have a bin mesh, and we have we have 2 bin meshes really. We have one for the chassis and one for the wheel. So we just copy that, and actually we'll copy the wheel first. And I'm gonna plug it in here in the mother vehicle.json file. Now with a little bit of luck, we'll actually have some sensible wheels. Yeah. That thing is interesting, but hardly a big problem. Here we can see the huge wheels coming and crushing everything. Everything gets crushed. Oh my god. Okay, this looks kind of fun already. Ooh. It's like just gliding on ice, this thing. Yeah. All right, good. And then what we can do is we can go to the blueprint, and let's have a look. For example, a test vehicle had a pretty nice just material. Test vehicle chassis bin material. So let's explore to that, and we can open this in the material editor, which opens on my other screen. Let's go here and we'll look at chassis. Alright, so its base material diffuse, it just has some colors applied to it. Okay, that's fine. What about the wheel? It's the same thing, right? So these are so-called material variants. That's why it opens up in this little window on top of the big one. So this is the base material which it's based on, and then it has these just basically colors. And that's fine actually. We'll take both of these materials and we'll just we'll put it in mother, and I'll just go in here and I'll export this out. Let's make this a slightly different color, just for funsies. Let's make it like a turquoise or something. Let's diffuse. Okay. Ambient should probably be something slightly similar, but maybe a little darker or something. I don't know. And then export it, and then we open the wheel, and I think that can just be whatever it is. So again, this should have picked up. So now we have the proper wheel for the mother vehicle. I'll just plug that into the JSON file. Render material like so. And now then for the actual mesh, I think we need to refresh this to make it pick up. We'll go to, oh no, we're on test vehicle now. So mother component, we just type mesh component and mother chassis, and here as well mother chassis. Right, so it is dynamic. Doesn't block the nav mesh. I can render the thumbnail. That should be fine. That should be fine. Everything should be fine. Okay, so now if we actually reload the backend for the editor, because we poked at some data files, you can see, hey, here we have it. It doesn't have any wheels yet because none of the vehicles actually have wheels in the editor. So let's see what's going on. That thing, I should really figure out why it's complaining. And here we have it, the huge vehicle. It's so huge, it's so huge. Oh my god. Can't believe how huge it is. And yeah. And the UV is not that beautiful when it's just auto generated. But yeah. Oh, boom. And yeah, the physics probably don't match the visuals completely currently. And we might want to have a look at that at some point. Actually, it's not that far off. Like we've cut this chassis a bit in the both the back and the front. But yeah, we brought it up there and brought it out there, and we brought it in here, so it's actually poking a little bit. Yeah, it's not bad. This is really quite silly in many ways. Should we try moving the center wheels a little bit, either front or back, see how that looks? Maybe we should. There's the JSON file. We can just put the middle wheel. Yeah, here we go. So that would move them forward a little bit. Yep. That kind of looks silly, so let's move them backwards a little bit. I mean, silly is not necessarily bad. It can can be kind of interesting to have this sort of weird looking machines. But I think it doesn't necessarily fit all that well. Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe we'll leave it at the center for now, and we'll have a think about it. At some point. Yeah. Maybe that is what we'll do. Let's drive this back to the other vehicles. I'm just gonna pause this and undo that change for now. Ooh. Yeah, resetting a vehicle while it's in motion can be a bit weird. So like if we consider that we have vehicles of roughly this size, I think it's kind of, I think the size can be considered quite good. You can sort of imagine driving into this thing. Maybe it does need to be a little bigger, I don't know. Like if you consider that the mother should be able to hold multiple vehicles and maybe even some trailers. Of course, you're not supposed to be able to see right through it. That would be kind of, that would be a little silly if you could. Or I don't know, but I don't think you're not necessarily physically supposed to be able to enter this guy. Or maybe you are. Yeah, I think the other vehicles would be roughly this size. I think this vehicle is, well, this vehicle is again like way too large. Let's just remove that guy from the level. We have another truck here, the truck number 2, which is significantly smaller. This is essentially kind of like more to scale, if you will. And even this vehicle might be a little too large for this game's good. Then again, this guy doesn't really need any kind of trailer because it can like keep the cargo in its back. You could just drive into this guy, boom, and just you can push the whole thing. Maybe there's some emergent gameplay here. Can I push it up the hill? Well, I can, except the back is kind of hitting the ground. Man, this is some powerful truck engine right here. Yeah. Just pushes the whole thing over the edge. Okay. That's fine. What then? What's the next? What's the next step? So to be able to actually more accurately play around with the physics here, we should probably try to get the chassis shape figured out. Now the problem, of course, here is that the problem is that we're falling off the world. The problem is that this guy is not convex, it's concave. So we need to make it up from multiple pieces. Like you have that cargo pool or whatever you want to call it in the back. Not to mention, of course, that it's hollow there. But then you have these almost like wings coming off the side. So we can essentially construct it from multiple different pieces in multiple different ways. I wonder what would be the best way. I have a tool here which I've used in the past for things like this. Not really for vehicles, but for actual cliffs and things like that. To create convex hulls. Let's see, what was the thing with it? OBJ files from a blender into convex hull point, ready to copy into an object blueprint. Right. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to go here and we need to move this to the origin once again. And then we need to export it as an OBJ. Yeah, this is a new thing. I think I'm going to use the legacy one for now. I need to familiarize myself with that. T forward. Actually, that can go in the, yeah. So mother, chassis, collision. Let's just do CH, collision hull. Okay, sorry, convex hull is of course what the thing is supposed to be. So OBJ, let's open this up, see what it looks like. Yeah, I got everything, that's not good. Okay. So let's do this and yeah, selection only and export. And now, right, now we have this guy. Okay. Okay, so what kind of convex hull will this give me? If I drop the object file here, the model has 134, 32. Yeah, this is not necessarily like a very good thing to do for vehicles. I think we need to do that by hand. Right, and the thing you get out of it is like a list of vertices like this. Okay, so what we can do is we can add a new level. And to this level we add the mother object. We put it at origin. And now we can actually save this, and we can save it inside of means vehicles mother work. And we call this chassis ch, or we can just call it collisions. Mother collisions, something like that. And then we take a debug sphere. And the debug spheres we start placing where we actually want. So now we need to think about how do we actually sort of how do we cut this up into chunks? So this cargo pool is that's the real sort of problem here. Essentially, that's a real problem here because I don't exactly know how to cut this up properly so that everything becomes like a convex thing. But it doesn't matter. Let's just start doing it anyway. So we can put these spheres here at the places where there's like a vertex, essentially. So do one there, and put one there and one there. One here. And we take those two, and we duplicate them and move them off to the side. And we put some on the other side as well. I would really need to do this very, very precisely for the final vehicle, but for now, just to get something started, let's do it like this. And then we move it down and we move it to the corners there as well. Right, so now we can essentially we can put one. Where do we put it? We put it there, right? We can put one here and one there, and again duplicate them to the other side. Put them right in the crevice there. There we go. And now we can take those four and move them down. Move them down like so. So what we can do now is we can actually we can create this part of the vehicle would be 3 convex hulls. We have the center here, which is like this bottom 4, then these ones in the middle, and or actually no, that doesn't even need to be. It can be just these 4. This is one piece, and then this is the bottom. But actually, we can probably take these just to be sure, because I think this is the way that we want to do it. All right, and now that we have these 4, we can do objects, special commands, extract positions as JSON, enter the full name of the parent object. Well, it's in world space because we don't need to put anything there because the object is at origin. And we got a list of points. Okay. And now then, if we go into here and we actually change this first thing to be a convex hull, how many points did we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13. 13 points. Really? Oh, 12 positions. Okay, I can't count apparently. Right, 12 positions, 12 points. So let's add 11 there, like this. And now we just go into here. We need to like manually copy them over this part of the of the workflow is a bit crappy, but like so, and we just copy them there into the JSON, and now we can go. I was missing a comma. Yes, now it converted. We just open this up again, and we can see we have the points here beautifully. And now we should be able to have a look at this guy in here, and we can see that there is actually, like, you can just very faintly see, like, see the midsection there as a convex hull. Excellent. Okay. So now we can add a few more sections to this. So we need one here on the side, another one there, a third one in the back. Actually, we can do probably this whole thing as one, and that one as well. Yeah, let's do that. And yeah, we'll figure this out. Shut that down. Hello. Shut down, please. Why doesn't it not shut down? Oh, because we get some kind of... What? We got some kind of error. Okay. What's going on? I don't have time to read it. I'm gonna try to copy this error. Cast causes pointer to be null. Okay, well there's something funky here. It's probably something related to Zig and this asset browser. Those two haven't been used all that much together yet. Okay, well anyway, we can get back to that at a later point. Now then, we can move these guys, because I just figured out that we can move these guys, and we can move them where do we move them? We can move them here. Right, and we can move this and this and this and this. We can move them there. And it doesn't affect the midsection, which we already sort of added to the object. Okay. So add some more points here. One there, one there, one here, and one there. And then I think we'll need, and we're gonna take some liberties here with how actually, yeah, let's not do that. Let's do it slightly differently. Let's take that point, and then we take that. Oh, come on. That point and that. Yeah, okay, that's stupid. I need to make it so that the spawn thing doesn't appear in the editor. I wasn't aware it would appear in the editor. Something like this, right? And now that gives us already quite a lot. So now we have essentially like the whole back section of the vehicle so that we can actually model it with these things. So why don't we actually do that? And the way we can do that now then is we take this point, this point, this point, this point, that point, that point. Alright, we actually need one there. So let's just bring, or again we can probably do this and this and just copy them over like so. Right, now we should be able to do the whole thing. I do wonder though, like we had the center section. Maybe we could extend the center section a little bit. So basically what we would do is we would have yeah, that would work. So what we can do, if this is the lowest point here on the top deck of it, is that we just take these guys away, all of those away, and we take all of these guys away. It does take a little while to figure out, like, okay, I can actually simplify this by just doing this or doing that or doing something else. But now I realize that I can actually just simplify this quite a lot, actually. Right, so we have those lowest points. You know, like, yeah, technically we would need something here, but I'm not gonna bother with that right now. Same thing here in the front. Best just to have that. Or maybe we can do that. I'm simplifying this so much now that maybe we can actually just afford to actually put a point there, and we can put a point there, and we can do the same thing here in the back. So there and there, and put 1 point there, 1 point there. Those guys we can take away. Come on. Like so. We have the same thing here, don't we? We have the same thing here. We'll put 1 point there, 1 there, 1 there, and 1 there. Right? Okay. And then, in addition to all of this, what we do is we take these points here and we align them with this. Right. Just move them slightly in. Actually, we can look at, like, what is the x coordinate. So it's like, it's basically 4, right? And this one is supposed to be 4 as well. Again, this is something that we would do very, very sort of precisely if this was like the final vehicle, but it's not. So we just move that to 4 as well, and that to 4. Yeah, no, that won't work. Yeah, that won't actually work at all. I got maybe a little too excited. Got a little too excited. Yeah, because this needs to have this sort of, yeah, okay. Yeah, that can't actually be done that way. Okay, but that doesn't matter. We can add some shapes there to fill that hole. Let's have a look. What do we have? Like this essentially covers the whole bottom, except it won't be hollow, but it doesn't matter. That covers the whole bottom. Then we have this here, which like essentially covers this back portion. You can just move these in a little bit. And no, I won't bother with those angles there. They can be as they are. And this way we get like this part. Get one there. Like that. All right. So now we have, the bottom part. We have the back part. Okay. Right. So then we can do these. Put those together into one. Convex hull decomposition by hand. That's fun. How did I do that for the... I think I had like a Blender plugin for doing this actually. Now that I think about it. Didn't I have that? Add-ons. CHCD, what was it called? Convex. Let me just try to Google that quickly. All right, so I kind of figured out how I was doing this earlier, and it turns out that I did actually have a Blender plugin for this, but it only works with an earlier version of Blender. So here we are in Blender 2.8 with the object file exported. You can actually do something like this, where you this takes a while to do, and you end up with these convex hull parts. But yeah, I mean this is not really sort of precise enough, and in particular it's not symmetric enough to be used as like this vehicle, for these vehicle parts. So what I was thinking, well, in addition to it not picking up on our cargo pool there, but that could probably have been fixed. Anyway, what I was thinking that we could do is that we could actually probably, let's call this chassis, and then actually we don't need to do that. We just hide that, and we can, I guess, hide these guys as well. And we'll duplicate this, and we call this chassis collisions. And we'll just hide that. And now we can start actually sort of chop this up into pieces. I think this is easier to do here than it is in the basis editor. Oh. So we just start to sort of think about, okay, how do we actually chop this up into convex pieces? And I think that will have to do. So right, we have essentially we can still consider this bottom part of the whole thing to be like one big piece. So maybe we'll do that first, and we'll actually just take that, right? Actually, first of all, let's get rid of this for now. So faces, and for the we're not going to be using this for the visuals anyway, so we can just fill that in, right? Don't really have to care about that anymore. And now that we have that, we can start to actually just dissolve some of these. Dissolve the edges. Oh, we can do that. We can dissolve that probably. Dissolve edge. Dissolve edge. We can dissolve that edge for sure. That as well. And that as well. Just make this a little easier to work with. Right, and then now we can take all of this stuff and we separate it. So we get this into another mesh, and now, of course, this thing is already convex, so that would be fine. And what we can do actually now is we can take the bottom of this guy, just remove that. So faces, and we can take this guy and add one more face to it. Let's see, how do we do this? How far is that from the bottom of the pool? It's a little far. That's fine. Let's add a top face to this guy, like so. And then we, I guess we'll actually cut this up into. Do I have any excess pieces here? Why can't I actually slide this? That's weird. That's strange. I can only cut it. All right, I see what's going on. Yeah, I can't actually do that, but what I can do is I can just knife it. Let's get that back, and we can do this, and we can simply knife it around there. Oop. Let's try to remember how to use this. So it was C is toggling the what is it? It's A is the angle constraint, and Z is all the way through, and there we go. Okay, apparently not. And didn't cut all the way through. Cut through is C and A. Now, there we go. Screwed it up somehow. Yeah, and we can slide it back and forth like this and map it directly to that. Then we can do the same thing here. C C is true, and like so. And again, we slide it that way. Like so. And what was it? It was something like even. What was it called? I don't remember anymore. Okay, let's not do that. What I'm trying to do here is actually get this to GY to be right underneath those GY, and then snap there. And here again, grab Y, snap under that, and Y, and snap under that. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to take this guy and I want to extrude it up to there. So that means that the bottom part will it will cover the bottom of that pool, right? We don't have to consider that anymore. And now, of course, that thing isn't convex anymore. Oh, so that's a bit of a problem, but we can just make it convex by how do we make it convex? How do we make it convex? Let's make it convex somehow. Something like, oh, no, not that. Yeah. Something like this. We can maybe we can actually merge, we can join those two. And then we can make that. Now it's kind of convex. It's not even kind of convex. It is convex. Same thing here. Just take those away, and oh, we have actually take those away as well. So put a face there, put a face there, and put a face there, and now we have it convex all the way. Okay. Right, so now it covers like the bottom part and covers the bottom of that part. Phew. Yeah, this is kind of tricky to get right, but let's hope it will be worth it. So the next thing then is, I think, to let's see, we can take that, and we can subdivide that, and we'll actually gonna place it by eye this time around. Over there, I'll take the other one and we'll put it under that one, right? That vertex we can dissolve. I don't know why it's even there, but we'll do the same thing here and actually take both of them and just move them so that we can join them there. And that will become one part, and that will become another part. Let's get rid of this for now. Just hide it. Oh, we don't want to hide that. Okay, and so I'm gonna subdivide this. We want to move it under that one. I'm gonna subdivide that and move that under that one. And again, we wanna cut it that way and that way. So that will give us another part. Right. So now we can take this thing and actually we can just completely, you know what we can do, we can What can we do? What can we do? We can't do that. No. Yeah. I'm getting a little tired of this thing, to be honest. Maybe you are too. I'm just thinking, how do we actually split this? So this part here, this part, that part is now like a part that we can actually separate out. So let's separate that out, right? And we can hide that. And good. So that's that. And then we can take this part, and we can probably even like fill this in to make it. All right, we can do it on that side, but we can do it on this side. Come on. Come on. No. Okay, well, in that case we do it like this, and we do it like that, and we do it like that, and then we do it like that. Right, and then we can probably like merge at last, and then we can merge at last, and merge at last, and merge at last, merge at last again. Right. Right, so this part is now also convex. And we'll just separate that out as well. Boom. There we go. And then we do kind of the same thing for this. Should be easy. So merge at last. That's that. That. Oop, not that. So that and that and that becomes that. Merge at last. Merge at last, and we do. Oh, no. F. Like so. And that would be that. Well, then, of course, we need to cut this up into convex P. Now we need to do a little bit of composing again. Not much, but a little bit. And the way we do it is by subdividing this guy, sliding it along until we, I guess, hit that, but we don't actually do that now. Actually, can I just dissolve that edge? I think I can. Right. Okay, so now we can slide that along and create something there. Just join that, and now we can separate this guy out. Right. Good. That's one convex piece for you. And with this, I think we'll just get rid of those faces, and we'll simplify this a little bit. Not much, but a little bit. Come on. So like so, and like like so, and that's probably not a good split, but this should be a pretty good split, like so. And now we have this as a convex piece. Okay. Merge by distance. Let's get rid of. There doesn't seem to be anything to get rid of. Okay, and that's now a convex piece as well. Okay, so now we have this separated into a beautiful convex soup, and I think this is good enough. Now let's just hope that now let's just hope that this actually, that these pieces don't have too many vertices. Oh, up. So just export these out as, I think I'll put that to the quick access so that I can just do obj like that, and then we'll do ch2, and then we'll do yeah, like we need to actually have these as separate ones now. So let's get rid of the mirroring. Let's get rid of the mirroring, and I'll duplicate it, and I'll take that and I'll rotate it by around the Z by 180. Oh no, actually I won't do that. Let's not do that. Let's instead apply this. So apply. Take just that, separate it out, and there we have it. So this can be the this can be number 3, and that can be number 4, number 5, finally number 6. So 6 different pieces, which is quite a lot, but it's, I mean, it's a very important, it's a very important vehicle, very important object. So I think that's worth it, clearly. All right, so now we can go to our convex hull converter, and we can run this guy, and we can do, yeah, not really that, but we can do, we can take number 1. Okay, so it has 35 vertices. I think that was the most complex one. So we need to somehow just make this a little simpler. At least here I have some, let's see, faces, dissolve edges, right? I still might have to do something like this. Let's like merge that as at the last one. Let's merge that as at the last one, merge that at the last one, and merge that at the last one. Right, and then what do? We probably like do it like that. I think that probably makes perfect sense. Yeah. That probably makes perfect sense. Then we can try to merge those at the center, right? That probably makes perfect sense too. That one we can just merge at last. Right, let's try to do that. So convex hull converter again, and we'll drop it there. And what does it say? 877. What? What is going on? Okay, I messed up. I think all of these are probably messed up, right? Yes. Jesus. Oh boy. Okay, let's do this again. I think I added the wrong one there. So export. It's this is the one I want. Okay. So now legacy. Yes. Okay. And selection only. Collisions. Yeah. Okay. So ch1. That's good. And we have ch2, ch3, ch4, ch5, and ch6. Let's save that, and let's try again. Here we go. Okay, now it looks better. So now we can try to put these guys in. also go and immediately have a look at what it looks like in the editor or in the preview. I don't think that is what it looks like. Let's open this again. Oh, okay, open. There we go. All right, I just hadn't reloaded it. So now we can see that it's kind of matching. Good. So let's add one more. Let's actually add 5 more. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I think we're probably approaching like the yeah, it doesn't like when we only have 1 point, but that's fine. We can just let it chill for a bit. Convex hull. We're probably approaching like the maximum number of shapes for a vehicle, but again, I think it's quite reasonable. This is a very important vehicle. So I will take number 2, copy to clipboard, put that in there. Number 3, copy to clipboard. So what I'm doing off screen is I'm just copying those points into the JSON data, the JSON version of the blueprint. 36. Okay, that's not good. What was number 6? That was the bottom one, right? I immediately know what to do about that. Actually, yeah, let's have a look. Let's have a look at this. Yeah, so what we will do is we'll merge at last. We'll merge at last. And same thing here. And that should make it better. Copy the clipboard and Bob's your uncle. And then we need to open this again. Right. Okay, here we have a beautiful, beautiful thing now where we actually have the whole thing looking exactly how we want it. Okay, excellent. Let's shut that down and we'll go to the regional level. We can save this level. I don't think I'll actually use it, but we can save it. It doesn't quite matter. And we go here, and here's our vehicle. And now what we can do is we can just start adding things to our cargo bay. Like this. We can add some more. Can I have some more? The minute we actually start simulating that, it might just sort of launch into space, but that's a problem for a separate day. So yeah, let's pause it immediately to see what's happening. Right, so here is our cargo, and it's kind of working. It's kind of looking like it's belonging. So if we start driving around, the thing is sort of moving around how you expect it to move around. And if we're being careless about our driving, sooner or later that stuff will will probably fall out like that. Yeah, like that. I wonder, can we actually like put a car up there? And does it stay inside the cargo pool? I'm calling it the cargo pool now because I don't really have a better name for it. Let's see. Let's brake. Ugh. Okay, so let's put a test vehicle there, and off we go. It's working so well that I'm gonna put another one immediately. Oh shit! Oh no! No, what happened? Right. Oh, okay. I know what's going on. It's like I need to stay calm because the yeah. I can't be moving when I do that because the position where it will place the object is going to be sort of inside the vehicle because it's moving. It was where I clicked the mouse, and that position is then inside of the vehicle. Okay, well, this is already getting kind of violent, but yeah, I think this works surprisingly well, actually. Things are just sort of getting carried away, or carried around, not carried away. They're getting carried around quite nicely. I'm gonna eat you. I'm just gonna eat you. Okay, interesting. Can we put some larger vehicles there? Will they stay there? Let's put a truck number 2. Seems to be able to just carry about pretty much anything. It's just kind of working. Just kind of works. Brum, 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 brum. Yeah. Yeah, I'd say this is clearly sort of, it seems stable enough for our purposes. I always have to be a little concerned that it will just sort of freak out when you do these things, but it does seem to work quite nicely. The suspension seems to be very compressed though. Is it like these cars are actually kind of heavy? Okay, well, that's interesting. Works kind of well. I think I'm gonna end this video here. We got a start of making the visuals. I'm not super happy with the shape of this vehicle yet, but it's a start. It's a start, and we need something that start prototyping these mechanics with. And yeah, quite a lot of this video went into messing around with those convex hulls. I'm sorry about that. That was not super fun, but it is what it is. Anyway, oh shit. This will end badly. I should probably put like I should probably put like a a kill plane below this thing. I think I have one. A kill plane, yes. Y coordinate. So there we have the kill plane. Oh, not 40, but minus 40. Maybe even minus, I don't know, 20. So now if you just drive down there, then you will be stopped. I think that's what happened, and then you can set if you actually want it to sort of to destroy the object or not. So now we should hit it momentarily. Boom! There we go. It refuses to lay on its side apparently. No, it does. Okay. Yeah. I think I'll end here. Thanks for checking out the development, and I hope to see you around again.